What's up, guys? It's Casey McKeown back again with just a little bit of an update regarding both my professional and personal life. The last 12 months, I guess really dating back to the beginning of 2022, I made a lot of decisions both in my personal and professional career that has now spilled into, unfortunately, 2023. Now, I've been a little bit more public about my professional struggles. What I've been open about the most has been the utter failure of trying to attempt to build a real estate team. Now, dating back really honestly to even 2021, I started bringing on some friends of mine that were past clients that decided to get their real estate license. That stemmed into 2022, where I started to build a rather, I guess, medium-sized real estate team. At the peak, I had about 8 licensed real estate agents. Not a lot of them were selling, which is the main reason why I lost a lot of money in 2022. But I also had 5 staff members that I had to pay bi-weekly, as well as a now mortgage for the commercial office that I purchased for this real estate team that was substantial. Now, I won't go into too much detail about that because I feel like I've detailed it a ton over the last 6 or 9 months, but I can tell you I'm still paying for that decision in 2023. I'm hoping about by maybe mid-year, I'm gonna be really over that hump of the, I guess, financial burden that building that real estate team last year put me in, moving towards 2023. Now, on the flip side, a lot of what I haven't shown is my personal life. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, maybe follow me on Facebook, or maybe other social platforms, even maybe TikTok, where I guess I'm a little less professional and more about my personal life, you know that I have struggled, I guess, in the, for lack of better terms, dating scene. However, I had a situation last year that I thought things may have changed for the better. I wound up meeting someone and have spent the last 9 months of my life getting to know them. Unfortunately, that has come to an end. Now, there are a ton of different layers here with the aspect of that relationship, and I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but the main reason why I've been, I guess, a little bit less consistent when it comes to creating especially YouTube videos, I feel like I've really fallen off the most on YouTube over any other platform, is because the relationship required me to basically be traveling every other week to maintain the relationship. So yes, you may have seen maybe some rushed content. You may have seen, maybe less frequent content, but moving forward on my YouTube channel, that's certainly going to change. I'm gonna be doing my best to put out 2 quality videos every single week for you guys moving forward, just like I used to do. Now, before we jump into the rest of the video, which really is just the entire week that I've had, it's been a little crazy. I actually had the opportunity to meet Kevin, which if you're not familiar with, he's got about 2 million subscribers and also ran for governor in the state of California. It was a quick meeting, but I got to meet him in person, put a face to the name, and maybe get my face in front of someone that could potentially help my business and growth in the future. Now, on top of that too, I attended a real estate conference in Austin, Texas with some of the best real estate agents across the country. I also got an update on my Broken Bow cabin. We went up there later in the week just for the day. And we're only looking at about 4 to 5 more weeks until that is completely finished. So with all that being said, sorry for the long intro. Let's get to it. Well, guys, a cool opportunity popped up. To be quite frank with you, it was just one of his assistants scrolling through YouTube and came across my YouTube channel and reached out to me to see if I could maybe show a couple properties in the kind of central area of our metro with another quite, I guess, famous YouTuber in the real estate realm. His name's McKeown. If you haven't heard of him, he's got close to 2 million subscribers. We're gonna go take a look at a couple homes, get an idea of kind of the market here in DFW, where the market's headed and where it's been prior, as well as just getting an idea if house hacking in our physical metro makes sense, because he's doing this huge project and probably more to come in the future, but he's really diving into the opportunity of house hacking for first-time investors. So
we're past 2006.
Yeah, this one particularly, really good area, really good, obviously, community.
Do you ever get value-add fixtures out here?
So this is, as far as what you would deem, it's on the market and it's been sitting on the market. The interior here could use some love in terms of.
Why would something like this sit other than price? It's just obviously price. So what's the?
So.
It's not like scary,
No, it's.
It hasn't been painted in a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
A lot of people, if they're buying in this area, they just want to buy it and move in. If they're
They don't
able,
want to do any work, yeah.
if they've got the money to afford to buy in Grapevine, Colorville, South Lake, Frisco, most of the time they're gonna buy a house that's what they want
Right.
versus come in here.
Something in the meantime.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is probably a little bit on the large side for us for rental purposes.
Yeah.
Generally, I think we're probably going to be, maybe that out here, Texas, maybe that 2,200 square foot range. But it's good to see this because it's an example of Colleyville.
People want to invest here, but then they also still pay the taxes that you got to pay for income in California, and then pay the property taxes here in Texas. You've got to be. What makes most sense probably is either to do one or the other. Like if you're going to invest here, you live here, so you don't pay the state income tax. Exactly. Especially if you earn a good amount of living.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like this is easy. The paint, the ugly carpet, we can do this stuff all day long.
Yeah.
Our thing would be that sort of off-market stuff when it comes up. If you don't have someone for it, we can easily buy something like that and turn it into a long-term hold as well.
Okay.
Generally, I find it makes a little bit more sense closer in the smaller square footage I mentioned. Dude, awesome.
Appreciate it. Hey.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
So Q3, Q4, we're excited.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Appreciate
dude.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are in Austin, Texas, just about 3 or 4 hours away from my hometown of Dallas. I've been traveling a ton within the last really 9 to 12 months. A lot of that's going to taper down, even though ironically I am traveling. Currently we are at a real estate conference here in Austin, and one of the biggest reasons I bring my videographer is to hold me accountable at these real estate conferences, because I can certainly find my way back up to the hotel room napping or just finding another alternative rather than the conference itself. But before I dive into too much of what I've been doing lately, let's get today started. Well guys, that was a little short-lived. This is my third Tom Ferry conference really in the last, I think, 60 or 90 days. We've had some hiccups in terms of allowing my videographer to get into these type of events. And finally, the third event, he was no longer allowed to come in. So actually gonna show you some of the content, some B-roll footage here from the last 2 events where I was actually allowed to film in. So I am part of a large coaching organization with Tom Ferry. A lot of the events that I go to are either Tom Ferry events or other just large video or brokerage specific real estate conferences to meet other agents that live really outside my market, so I can get agent to agent referrals, as well as potentially attract agents to my company. So really when it comes to my coaching organization, all I need to get is about 2 agent to agent referrals every single year, and that covers my entire cost for my coaching. And then really it's just a free game in terms of how much income I can make from attracting agents to my company that come in, produce, and then I make passive income off of. And this morning we are back headed up to Broken Bow in Oklahoma. Shortly here, we're gonna be able to see an update on my cabin, and I can tell you in the next 4 or 5 weeks, this thing should finally be done. And I say thankfully because the construction loan and how construction loans work is they basically give you an interest-only payment for 12 months. Well, May essentially hits 12 months for my Broken Bow cabin, and the mortgage is no longer just interest, but I also have to pay about $2,800 a month, if not more, in principal. So my mortgage payment goes up substantially, and if it's not renting out yet, like if for instance it took like 1.5 years to build, there'd be 6 months that I'd be continuing to pay a full mortgage and not creating any income. Well guys, we are here at my cabin in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, looking about 4 to 5 weeks from completion. If you've been following my, progress with the house, you'll see a lot of different changes here, and I'll go through those with you here. First and foremost, the loft that we have behind me here was really not initially intended, and it's kind of been changed over the course of the build. The intent here was to have an additional place outside of just this living room, kitchen area, as well as the bunk room for entertainment and fun, but also give an opportunity to really take advantage of more available space to sleep. So instead of being able to sleep 16, we're gonna be able to sleep close to 24 people here. Now 24 would be quite packed, But it gives you on the flip side, if you're sleeping with 16, rather than being completely packed with 16, you can sleep comfortably with everyone having separate beds outside of the partners or families, parents, so on and so forth, with their own master bedrooms. Everyone else would have their own bed. So that's kind of the addition and purpose of this loft space. And we also just recently had the entire staircase put in here. We were kind of going back and forth in terms of which direction we wanted to go with the staircase, whether or not we wanted to put it in the bunk room, and then we realized that there wouldn't be enough headspace with the loft at the top only really having about 8-foot clearance. So we went ahead and put it out the front. They've done a lot of staining, and I'll go through that as well. As you can see, this entire massive fireplace has been bricked out. This is the stain that we're going with in most of the living space. It's kind of a whitewash stain here. You can see a little bit of difference from just the original wood stain over here that has not been stained. So this is just regular wood that has yet to be stained. The rest of the house will be majority whitewashed except for this bedroom in here. Now the reason being there, honestly, I prefer the more colored version of paint rather than whitewash, but it's a lot more affordable to just do a stain / whitewash than painting. So because we initially have, and I also, as you can see, have brought my dogs with me as well, this wall actually got stained a different color when we were trying to decide on which kind of stain we went with. So this room itself, they're actually gonna paint white with an accent wall here. Every single master bedroom is going to have an accent wall. All the rest will be whitewashed though. This one, being my bedroom though, will be painted white with an accent wall. Now moving into the bunk room, which is right off of the kitchen and living room area, you can see that essentially all of this wall here has been whitewashed. And this is a good example here. Not sure how well you guys can see it, but the difference from just the regular wood here versus the whitewash stain, it's a little bit, I guess gives it a little bit more of a touch to it. So that wall still needs to be done. Then you move back to an additional 2 large bedrooms. This bathroom here that they're working on tiling is going to be for the guests in the bunk room. Then you've got a full bedroom here and bathroom. And this is probably my favorite room in the house just because the amount of natural light with all the windows come in. You can just walk into this room and really not even use any lighting fixtures and just see how bright it is. This bathroom's actually been tiled out and completed, so you can also get a sense of what the bathrooms are going to look like. The walls in the bathrooms though are going to be painted, and I'll actually give you a glimpse into what that will look like because that's stained whitewash right now, just like the rest of these walls are here. And I'll show you the difference of what it looks like when it's actually painted. Now it's a dark room here and I'm not gonna be able to go inside here because they're working on grouting the tile, but you can kind of see the difference in the whitewash versus an actually painted white wall. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention now, we haven't done it yet, but they are gonna bust out that wall up top here and that goes up to the loft room. We were initially wanting to put maybe the staircase here that would lead up to there, but the clearance would be too short. So that's why we did the staircase in the front. But what they are going to do is basically going to have a slide from the loft down to this area. So for the kids that are staying up there that want to come and hang out in the bunk room, they can essentially take a slide that'll slide down to here and get them into the bunk room. Now heading up to the loft area, again, this is additional square feet that really allowed my cabin to essentially gain value in itself too, because it's just like when you're selling homes, if a house has more square feet, it's going to be worth more usually. If this cabin was only 2,900 square feet, but I increased it by 400 or 500 square feet, now my cabin essentially has gained value. So now we have this loft space up here for more entertainment and more room for people to sleep. Again, this area off in the right, they actually have it kind of penciled out. Really from here over is gonna have an excerpt kind of busted out, and that's where the slide will go down to the bunk room. Also, another cool part about adding this loft space was we actually added an entire additional bathroom as well. So initially this slept 16, had 4 primary bedrooms, it had 5 baths, and now it has 6 baths with an additional loft space and a bunk room sleeping up to 24. Also just stuff that I've kind of learned over the course of watching this be built. You can see that there is a little bit of different flooring here. Now the reason is because they built a support right here rather than actually building a beam underneath, because if you follow me down the stairs and you imagine a large post which there are already a couple posts that had to be added in for support to the loft here, which is this post here, as well as that post there. If you had to add a post to also secure and really stabilize the staircase, you'd have an additional large post just right here. So you'd have two kind of posts that seem to fit with the house and then just a random post here. So that's why they built support to support this actual staircase up top. Now heading down the other side of the hallway here, this is going to be the shuffleboard hallway where we basically have a large shuffleboard that can be played, and you can still see out these massive windows out front. And this is going to be the last bedroom of the 4. This is going to probably be the largest in terms of ceiling. I think we're 18, 20 feet, I don't know, something outrageous. It's massive in here. Now, also, just like everyone else, this has its own private bath, so you can really have, you know, a whole entire family plus in-laws or multiple different families bring all of their kids out here and then enjoy this cabin, because you really do have 4 separate primary bedrooms with their own private bathrooms. And last but not least, heading outside here, the entire square feet of the interior space, I believe it's 3,200, 3,300 square feet, so pretty large. But the back decking here is right about 2,300 square feet. So you've got a large amount of covered on top of that for winters or even in the summers when it's exceptionally hot in Oklahoma. You've got all of this coverage here that's going to allow you to be able to entertain, have fun. And as I mentioned before too, they finished out these posts here. All of this is going to be painted a little bit darker of a color rather than just the natural wood color that they have right now. I mentioned this before, down here is going to be a pool spa, which is not as hot as a hot tub, and it's a little bit more spacious, but we will also have a hot tub back here as well for guests. Now, I'm not going to head all the way down here just because of the construction and all the mess that they have yet to clean up. There's plenty of work that still needs to be done. All of this will be leveled out, though, before we get finished here with some chairs and a nice fireplace for folks to come down here, relax, roast some marshmallows, and have a good night. So it's been quite a hectic week, a fun week though, with north of, I feel like, 15 hours of driving to Austin and Broken Bow, Oklahoma, as well as what I didn't even film yesterday, which was 90 minutes out to just show one home. But I'm hoping to create more content like this for you guys, like I used to, more of a daily vlog kind of content, as well as all the educational content that I continue to provide and post on this YouTube channel. I appreciate all your guys' support. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.